What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Not Locating Knowledge. So, we've been doing the Saturn through House series, and we're going to continue with that, but not today. Today, I'm going to take this time to start a new series. We're going to do a retrograde series. All right, I had originally meant to do this while all the planets were retrograde. I think like four of them still are. So, I got a request to do it. So, we're going to start it. We're going to start with Saturn retrograde. I'll talk about it in the birth chart, and I'll talk about it in transit as well. So, Saturn retrograde in the birth chart. Well, as we know, Saturn is a planet of restriction, limitations, delay, hard work, organization, and overall just reality. Saturn forces us to look at reality in a adult way, okay, and do the little things because they really do matter. And when it goes retrograde, when any planet goes retrograde, the qualities of the planet are turned inward. It's my personal opinion that they function in a 12th house like way, but there's a difference. With a planet being in the 12th house, the qualities of that planet are going to manifest on that stage, and that 12th house stage represents, foreign countries, isolated places, whether it be a jail, whether it be a hospital, a church, something like that. And but it's not going to manifest on that stage when it's just retrograde and let's say not in the 12th house. The way it acts in the 12th house like way is that you're dealing with that energy at a subconscious level. All right, you're internalizing the experience, and karmically, retrogrades mean a lot. I think karmically, especially, it can indicate someone who's learned, especially Saturn retrograde. Let's just keep with that. Saturn retrograde karmically, it represents someone who was disciplined in a previous life. Okay, depending on the sign, it'll really show you if you were disciplined in a good way, or if it's in a bad sign or a troubled sign, it'll show that you're still trying to learn these Saturn lessons, and these are the reasons why you haven't learned it. All right, so just to give you an example, someone with Saturn retrograde in Libra, we could say that they really mastered the lessons of Saturn, okay, and that talent and those lessons are here to aid them in their journey, all right, by keeping them aware. If Saturn is in Aries, debilitated, it shows that you're still learning the lessons of Saturn because you weren't disciplined. You weren't disciplined before. So you're here to be mindful of your unorganized or undisciplined expression. All right. So the retrograde forces us to pay attention to the things about this planet. And with Saturn, it's really about grounding yourself into reality and being responsible, and just gaining that wisdom about life, about the little things, about materials, so on and so forth. So like I said, pay attention to your sign because it's going to show you what parts of these Saturn qualities you need to work on, or which of these qualities are already in you and able to exercise. So next thing that Saturn retrograde does is that it doesn't directly restrict things like it would if it wasn't retrograde. Okay, I'll give an example of Saturn in the fourth, right? So if Saturn in the fourth direct, I get all right. So we'll use Leo. We'll use Leo. Saturn direct in Leo. What this could do is, Saturn would most likely limit the relationship or restrict the relationship with mom. You could either not live with mom, mom maybe could have been deceased as you grew up, or you weren't raised in the same home as mother. It can show a stronger connection to father. That father was more of a influence, a motherly influence, but in a serious kind of way. Now, take that same planet and turn it retrograde, and the same planet in the same side and turn it retrograde. What happens now is that mom will probably be there, right? You'll probably grow with your mom, and mom will actually probably buy you a lot of stuff, okay? And mom will probably, you know, be more of a friend to you. But check it out, right? The retrograde is going to force you to realize something about the relationship with your mother at a subconscious level. All right. And going with the same example of it being retrograde in Leo, mom, mom could still be chasing her dreams. Say that she, had dreams of being an actress or being a singer. All right. What happens is that mom can continually continue to chase those dreams, all right, and in turn may not be that kind of traditional mother that you needed, okay. On the other side, you can notice that mom is living through you. Mom might be pushing you towards the things that she didn't get to accomplish. So the person with Saturn retrograde in this position, it's something that they're very aware of. It's like, say that mom is out there chasing her dreams, right? This person with Saturn retrograde here is like, man, I wish I had more of a traditional mom. I wish I had a mother who, cooked for us, that was home all the time. Okay, so this is one example. It's forcing you to deal. So directly, that's a huge influence, not having your mother there, not being raised with your mother. Retrograde wise, it's showing you, it's giving you insight for better understanding of the relationship with your mother or why she's the way she is. Take that same understanding and apply it to other houses. I'll use myself as a good example. I have Saturn retrograde in the sixth house, opposing my 12th, where I have some planets there. And what it does for me is that I realized early on that, especially with my son being in the 10th, that, you know, without a career, without a direct outlet, I'm gonna end up a 12th house bum. Okay, 12th house homeless people are seen from the 12th house. Okay, because put it like this, I'm very aware of the fact that I have an outside mind, a very spiritual mind, and that can lead to not being grounded in reality. So my Saturn retrograde makes me understand that day by day, the little things really do matter. Okay, if Saturn is retrograde in the seventh house, you're going to be on top of yourself, to be disciplined, attentive, on top of your relationship. Okay, it's just bringing it a lot more to face value, guys. All right, and it's going to be a constant theme throughout this retrograde series. Another thing with Saturn retrograde is, like I said, depending on the sign. Okay, if you got a weak Saturn, if you got Saturn in a weak sign, you're gonna you're gonna be lazy, but you're just gonna be very much more aware of your laziness. Okay, and what that does is it continue, instead of being satisfied with it, the retrograde is so intense and it's so annoying. If you don't start to do the things you're supposed to do, you drive yourself crazy. So the retrograde is a constant reminder. All right. So guys, this is my interpretation of Saturn retrograde. I didn't even talk about the transits, but I'll make that in another video. Until next time, peace.